So up until now, we've only really been talking about the Maurya Empire. Now let's talk about the Guptas. The Guptas come about 150, 200 years later. And the Guptas represent what becomes the golden age of Indian society. This is when India becomes itself, it identifies its own culture, how it's going to be. And so the Gupta Empire is really the high point of Indian culture. And so we have, of course, a time of peace and prosperity. You know, when people are all fighting, wars are happening, you're not going to get a lot of emphasis on your own technology and culture. But peace and prosperity led the way with the Guptas. And it all had to do with a guy named Chandra Gupta the First. Be careful, Chandra Gupta Maurya is a part of the Mauryan Empire. Chandra Gupta the First is from the Gupta Empire. So I know that's a little confusing. He oversaw this great expansion of the Indian civilization. He organized a strong central government, which is similar to what the Mauryas did, that allowed for peace. And what he did, remember that the Mauryans divided the empire into four regions. He instead decided to leave some power in the hands of individual leaders and city government officials. So he, similar to more of what we have in the United States, where yes, there is a federal government in the United States. However, a lot of power is left to people like the governors of the states or the mayors. And that's similar to what Chandra Gupta the First did. All right. And so as a result, trade and farming flourished. Now, these were some of the great advancements of the Gupta Empire. You know, they had great advancements in astrology, or astronomy, mathematics, medicine. Some of the things they invented, they created the calendar that was based on the sun, proved the earth was round. Those are very difficult concepts. Even people today, you know, Kyrie Irving, for one, thinks that the earth is not round. They were able to figure out that there's a 7-day week, divided that even into hours. Look at that, performed surgery. Now, they likely did not have the anesthetics that we have today, but they would have likely used some kinds of different drugs or opioids in order to do the surgery. They also created modern numerals, the concept of zero. I mean, if you're a math person, you can thank them for the decimal system, is what the Guptas thought of. So, some of the great things that we use today, we use surgery, 7-day weeks. We use the decimal system, pi, zero. These are things that we still use today. They came out of the Gupta Empire, right? And they found a vaccine even as well. Now, one of the things, trade flourishes. You can see on this little diagram here, the Gupta Empire in the middle. Trade expands all the way over into China, down into Southeast Asia, even into Africa, and off into Europe. So all this flourishes under the Gupta Empire because it is a peaceful time. But all good things must come to an end. It's the same story you hear about many other different groups. We have civil wars, weak leaders, and invaders that ends up crumbling the stability of this peaceful time, and it fractures it back into many kingdoms that existed before it breaks into pieces. And then from there, we don't even see another new empire in India for another 1,000 years.